Okay, so last week or week before, I was watching the news and I saw this story about a man driving a truck on the sidewalk, and he ran over a bunch of people. This was in New York City, Brooklyn, I believe. And so the first thought that crosses my mind is like, oh crap, I hope this isn't a Muslim. Like so many years after 9/11, I still find myself having this thought because I know there's blowback. There's always some sort of like, in addition to that tragedy, there are like subsequent tragedies that kind of pile up when you belong to a group and there's this sort of horrible atrocity and people blame not just the individual but an entire group of people. The Asian American community knows this very well, the African American community, the Hispanic community, and so many others, right? The Jewish community. So when I found out it was an Asian American guy, or I think it was Asian, it was a Chinese immigrant, I believe. And then my mind connected that to a bunch of previous violent episodes by elderly Asian men. There was a shooting in the Bay Area, right? Half Moon Bay. There was the dance hall shootings down here in Southern California. And there was a church shooting, I believe, in Orange County. I believe it was a Taiwanese church. So my mind started making connections. Interesting. This is not very common that we see elderly Asian American men committing these acts of violence and mass violence. So this larger idea that we see each other as groups, that we make these connections, it's a very human thing. It's a very human thing to organize the world and turn what seems chaotic into some sort of order. It's a very powerful thing that our brain does for us. It's also a very powerful thing that it identifies threats and really helps us to, find trends so that we can protect ourselves. Unfortunately, in this situation and many others, the conclusion our brain makes is not factual. It's very biased. It's very distorted. We connected the dots, but dots that really weren't there. Because in the end, a lot of these people, like I know this driver who just ran over people in New York City, we discovered that he had mental health issues. He's been dealing with this for years. He's been in and out of prison because of that. And so this is something people from every race, have. We all have people within our groups that suffer from mental health issues. And this might cause them to take their own life. It might cause them to take other people's lives. And this is tragic. But then we add to that tragedy by blaming an entire group, seeing that they are out to get us. They're out to harm us in some way. No group of people is out to harm anybody. Like if you belong to any group whatsoever, try organizing them and getting everyone to agree to the same thing. You can't. Just look at our elections here in this country. Are all the white people getting together and jumping on a bandwagon? No. Same thing in the Muslim community, same thing in the Asian American community. There are crazy divisions in every single community you can think of. And so these are baseless. And I think one way for us to kind of keep ourselves in check is to look at the kind of biases that people have towards our group. And every group has this. Every group has been scrutinized and has these stereotypes about them. And all of us know those are baseless, right? There may be some people who have this. There may be some people in history who have exhibited these violent behaviors, but it is not a trait of the entire group. And so we know that's baseless about ourselves. And so then we need to question those stereotypes, those connections that we develop about other groups, because in all likelihood, those are also not true at all. And so I just wanted to share this, even me, I belong to a lot of different groups, and those thoughts do cross my mind as well. It's just, it's easy for me to dismiss it because I've been a victim of those stereotypes. And I think we all have to a certain extent. So just remember that, and I hope it helps. Thanks for listening.